Mobile geeks get hands-on with the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact, a flagship smartphone in miniature. The Sony Xperia Z3 Compact is the smaller version of the new flagship from Sony, the Sony Xperia Z3. It's a 4.6-inch device which sports an IPS LCD screen of 720p resolution. It also backs the very powerful high-end Snapdragon 801 system on chip, a 2.5 GHz chip which is probably the strongest on the market right now. That's backed by 2 GB of RAM, 8 GB of storage, and of course the device is 4G or LTE capable. In terms of camera, you won't be disappointed. You're getting a 20.7 megapixel sensor from Sony, backed by a 2.2 megapixel on the front. At 129 grams, the device is pretty light, and it also features dust and waterproofing up to IP level 68. The battery life, as you will see later on, is also very, very impressive, thanks to a 2600 mAh battery. Is this the real high-end, kind of mid-size 4.6-inch device that we hope it is?
Design-wise, the Xperia Z, what we have here is kind of like a hybrid of the Z2 and the Z3. Compared to the original Compact, it maintains the same smaller form factor. We have plastic on the back, so this is not made of Gorilla Glass. This is a tempered glass on the front as well. And you can kind of hear the difference. If we grab the Z3 real quick, you can kind of, I guess it doesn't sound that different, but the feeling is quite different. This is Gorilla Glass on the back, and you can see that there's some similarities in the top corners there. But if we look at the Z2, let's just put this in the middle, you can see that, well, this is kind of like a hybrid, so it has the same flatness as the Z2, but the roundness definitely is very similar to the Z3. So you can see that there. This is kind of like a rounded corner, and then it has that same kind of nylon in the corners, but a similarity in terms of the flatness of the side compared to the Z2. Now, the big advantage of the Z3 Compact is that it's good for one-handed use, right? So you can totally reach up to the top, move everything around, all the typing. You can reach to the other side of the keyboard, right? It's actually really quite nice. You can see that the way that it kind of sits in my hand. Now, if you're looking for a all-in, all-powerful phone that you can have one-handed operation with, this would be my money bet. Design-wise, absolutely gorgeous, and a little bit of a tank. Feels really solid.
Now, of course, one crucial area of any phone, if it wants to claim to be of flagship class, is the display. Now, Sony, does Sony know how to make displays? Oh my, yes, they do. And we've seen some fantastic displays on the Xperia Z series in the past. So how does the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact shape up in terms of display? Well, guys, I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. First of all, let's look at the technical details. It's a 4.6-inch display. So actually, I think in terms of, you've got quite thin bezels around the edge here and everything. So it's looking very, very nice there on the device. But it is one thing that will jump out straight away for a lot of people. Will say, hey, this is a 720p screen. That's 1280 by 720 pixels, and it's not full HD. It's HD, 720p HD, but it's not 1080p. And in fact, we've seen the LG G3 and also devices from Oppo that are actually coming out with Quad HD. That would be 2560 on this edge and 1440 along that edge. So in terms of display, actually what we're seeing here is not the high resolution or anywhere near the pixel density. This has sub 300 pixels per inch, whereas a lot of these QHD guys are like 500 pixels per inch or above. But does that really make a difference? Well, as we saw before with the G3S device, a lot of it, which was also 720p, a lot of it comes down to the quality of the panel, and the quality of this panel is pretty phenomenal. Let's have a quick look at some pictures. Oh, here we go. Let's have a look at this guy. Here's our turtle. Okay, let's go in deep into this turtle now. You can see that the colors are very bright and very crisp, and Everything is looking really nice. Sony's got its triluminous technology. It's also got X-Reality, the X-Reality engine, which is going to look after how all of the pixels react. And to be fair, it does, actually for a 720p screen, this is offering some excellent, excellent viewing quality. This is the guy. And look at how bright and vibrant these colors are. Let me also mention that in terms of brightness, this guy is he's a beast. Right now, I don't have this set on full. Usually I would do, but the truth is, if I have this on full, it's gonna mess with my camera. So watch this brightness level. Right now we'll adapt to lighting conditions, and we're in a reasonably well lit, kind of professionally lit room here where we're recording this video. But if I just go, two fingers, if we just go to brightness again, and we say, turn that off, boom, wow. Now you load up. Now my camera has to react and it has to darken because it's just so bright. It's like I'm holding a torch up to the camera that I'm using to film this. It's phenomenal. Equally bright as the Z3, and even if we can bring this in, okay, this is the Galaxy S5. Look at that, full brightness, full brightness. I think this is Super AMOLED, of course. Sony's not using Super AMOLED. This is, of course, an IPS LCD display. I'll just turn that down a little bit because it's messing with my camera. It's that bright. Okay, so let's go. Oh, hello, cats. How you doing? Let's check out the viewing angles as well, right? I mean, these viewing angles. Do you see any color degradation? Do you see any issues? Now we've come to expect this from IPS panels in the past, but I'm telling you, this is one of the nicest displays we have ever seen on a device this big.
Unlike some of the other cameras on a compact, Sony did not downgrade any of the performance. It has the exact same lens, exact same options. So we have Superior Auto manual, which I love because you can kind of mess around with the exposure there and the white balance, which is, yeah, it tends to make really great photos. Actually, between the Superior Auto and the manual, you'll find that you get a better photo in manual than in Superior Auto. I found that the Superior Auto photos tend to be a little blown out, and the manual can kind of give you more true to life results. A sound photo is incredibly gimmicky. If, say, you are taking photos of a bird, you could pretend to be the bird, or listen to what the bird actually sounds like. But you can see the waveforms down there, which is I guess it's gimmicky, but maybe you want it. Multicam is kind of cool because you can hook up, say, like your QX10 to this, or in theory another Sony phone. I wasn't actually able to get the compact and the Z3 to do the same thing. In theory, I was supposed to be able to, but that didn't happen, which makes me kind of sad. Oh, let's keep going. Face-in, we saw this first with Samsung. It's not that cool. Right, there I am. Yeah, whatever. I mean, seriously. It's gimmicky. Time shift is slow-mo, 120 frames a second slow motion. The 4K, I should warn you that it will shut down when it gets too hot. Also with 4K, 1 minute of footage will take you like 400 megabytes, so you're going to need a micro SD card inserted in here. And then everything else is kind of what we've seen before on the Z2. So we have background defocus, AR fun, time shift burst to capture the best picture. But overall, this is a phenomenal camera. One of the things that I did notice when I was out on the river trace was that I feel like the autofocus on the compact is slightly better than on the Z3, and this would be the first time that I've noticed a compact having better performance than the supposed flagship. So that was, I mean, it's close, it's incredibly similar, but I do absolutely feel that this one just tracked a little bit faster. Overall, I'm a big fan of the Xperia UI. I think it's intuitive, I think it's simple, it's very easy to customize wallpapers, and I love that there's a 2-finger drop to the quick settings. You just do one, that's straight to your notifications. Going into the back end, you can, it's a very standard kind of Android iteration, but we have this for organizing all of your applications. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of having it show up like this, to be honest, but it'll do. I mean, uninstall is really nice that you can easily kind of clean up all of your apps. nice and simply. And then go back out. Let's just go over a few of the things that I don't like about the software just before I discuss too much about how I like it. I hate this. What the hell is that? Right? Why on earth did Sony put this what's next here or what's new? I mean, I don't really care. I don't care what's new. I don't care what Sony thinks is new. This is a content push from Sony to kind of say, hey, here's some apps, here's some content. Hey, why don't you go to our store and figure that out? But if okay, let's say I've got this in one hand and I want to go search something, I have to pull to the right. I think that's annoying. I think that it's intrusive. And the other thing that I'm not the biggest fan of, I love this pinch, right? Or you can either pinch or you can hold down, right, to go into here. Now themes, I feel like it's not that customizable, right? So when you go into the themes, you're like, ooh, sorry, Scott, that looks nice. Let's head over into the Play Store and just take a look. And then you're quickly going to realize as you go and try to find more and more themes that, well, they're not free, right? That's 34 NT, so that's like $1.10, right? So I mean, that's not free. Like if we look at like what Huawei or Xiaomi is doing with the theming, they have just hundreds of different things available for free. There's some really nice intuitive software like Smart Connect that's included. Let's head back and create my own, because yeah. A headset, right? I don't want to add a time, but I want to add an action. All right, so I can start an application. That's what I was looking for. But sadly, I have not included SoundCloud on here, but you could do your favorite music playing app on this instead of going to Walkman, right? So on my Z3, that's how I have this one set up. So I think that's a really nice, intuitive thing that they've added software-wise as well. It's cool. Like, it's kind of weird, actually. So this is a pretty standard task manager for Android. This is running KitKat, by the way. But these are the small apps. So there's a calculator there. Let's put another one. Maybe you want a little browser action. Hey, let's just do, oh wait, you can only do one calculator. There's like 30 small apps. I keep on hitting calculator, sorry, I keep hit timer, that's what I want to do. Right, so you can set a timer, you can do some browsing. These are just small apps to help you kind of, this is their version of multitasking, I guess, and there's screen capture in there too. I think that's really like a nice little addition. So now I would be remiss software-wise if I missed out on the PlayStation app. Now this actually has remote play. It's not available right now, so I can't demo it. It's going to be launching later this year, but it's going to allow you to move your gameplay from your TV to your phone, and this is a big deal.
Now, one technology that's certainly improved in recent years is, of course, speaker technology. Now, a lot of smartphones nowadays, even the flagship ones, tend to have a speaker on the back. We've seen a few different designs. Sometimes it's just in the corner. Sometimes it's like there's a long strip here with small holes to let the audio escape. Now, this can be a problem because if we're playing games or watching media, quite often we hold it like this, and that can be a little bit prohibitive to a good audio experience. And it is for that reason that we're kind of seeing Sony, I guess, not copy HTC, but taking a lead from HTC with their One series, and they've got the two speakers either side of the screen here. So if you are watching media in media mode, or indeed if you're playing video games, you're going to get a real stereo experience from these two speakers here. So let's just go to our YouTube app. I've kind of searched for a little bit of Beethoven, which is what we tend to use. Just in fairness, we kind of play the same track each time. So let's just let's play that. And we have our volume rocker here on the side. Okay, so where are we volume-wise? Now, one interesting thing right there, I mean, that is pretty loud, I have to say. It's probably not as loud as what we've seen on the HTC One M7 or even and also the M8, of course, but it's still pretty loud, especially for a device this size. One thing I'm noticing, though, is that the whole phone, at the very top levels of the volume control there, once we reach the top, the whole phone kind of vibrates slightly, which I guess is just part and parcel of having two decent size, quite high volume speakers kind of integrated into the device. I guess it's not a problem. It's just an observation. But now, as we know with the Sony Z3 compact, the Xperia Z3 compact, I should say, we don't get a removable battery. The way the thing is designed, it's all one piece. You can't get in there. This is part of course, why it's such a strong build and the quality is really high, because there are no little flaps here for you to pinch off. But then again, this is indicative of a lot of devices we're seeing now. Actually, only Samsung and LG tend to keep with the removable back cover and also the removable batteries right now. So it's a non-removable battery. It has a capacity of 2,600 milliamp hours. And folks, it's just great. I don't know what to tell you. It's the first time I was ever actually miffed at a benchmark test. I mean, look at this. Can you see that? Elapsed time. It took 16 hours, 33 minutes for the laptop magazine battery informer app to fully drain from a full 100% load to 0. That's insane. 16 and a half hours? I mean, usually it takes, I mean, we've seen 8 hours, 6 hours. I mean, the G3 was only 6 hours, but we also saw, like, I think 13 hours on the Xperia Z3. So this is even better again. And I did check. Actually, it did not go into any power saving modes during the test. That's quite important because we could have had a lot more. If we go here into power management, you can see that right now, we could, if we wanted to, on our 98% loading, we could aim for 10 days and 15 hours. Okay, I guess that's the saying, if you use the tools below. Now let's have a look at these tools below. Stamina mode. Okay, so stamina mode is going to extend your battery functionality a lot. It's very similar to what we saw in the Galaxy S5 with ultra power saving. So we can see that once it's turned on, we have, oh, hello. It gives us a list of what it can do, and you can change things so that it's always on or it comes on at a certain level of battery, stuff like that. We can also go back out of there. There's also low battery mode. So this will just kick in. Let's have a look. Yeah, so we can affected settings, mobile data, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. We don't have to activate it, but we can also customize that completely. So this is kind of a more customizable version of stamina mode. Queue background data. Yeah, so look, if you want to get days, and I mean like 3 or even 4 days from one charge, I reckon this phone's going to be able to do it. In terms of battery life, this is, once again, Sony are hitting the ball right out of the park. It's some of the best battery life we've ever seen.
I love talking about Sony.
She does. So, in conclusion, now you're a fangirl. I mean, so much a fangirl. I never get to use Sony devices in this office because Nicole takes them all and you never see them again. So we've had we've reviewed the Z3 and now the Z3 Compact. So what do you think? Is this the big puncher in the 4.6 kind of form factor that we were hoping?
If you're looking for a phone that has like one-handed use written all over it, that doesn't compromise on anything, it doesn't compromise on battery life, amazing, performance, camera, right? Like when we look at all the other compacts, that's where you kind of like, you lose on features and you lose on some others. But Sony disrespects the fact that maybe you want a small phone with everything that it has to offer.
That's
right? So, yeah.
That's how they're positioning the phone, and that's actually what we've found. Are there any slightly negative things that you'd want to bring in?
Well, the one thing that I do wish that they had done was include maybe an aluminum rim around the edge, and maybe made the back Gorilla Glass. I mean, if they'd kind of maybe put more Gorilla Glass in it. And the one thing is, if this is as much as a flagship phone costs, which it is, it doesn't play the same thinness game as the other devices. Like when you look at it, it's a few millimeters thicker, which in the smartphone world is like...
It's a big difference.
It's a big difference. It's a big difference. But it allows them to put in a bigger battery, allowing for 3 days of battery life. Yeah. And because it's smaller, they needed the thickness to have the heat dissipation.
Right. So like even with 4K video, it's not getting overheated. It's performing well. So the design's pretty solid.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's still waterproof.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a huge plus.
I think in terms of design, it's absolutely. I mean, I quite like. I mean, this. I know you're saying about the finish on the sides, but it does help with the grip and stuff. I think it actually feels very nice in the hand because of that.
Yeah, and design-wise, I do like that it's almost a hybrid between the Z3 and the Z2 because it has the flatness of the Z2, but the same kind of roundness of the Z3, which is stylistically you can tell them apart, like not even just size-wise.
Right.
But the one thing that I was really impressed with is the camera. Identical hardware, identical
Yep.
specs, 25 millimeter lens. But when I was taking video, when I was river tracing, I just felt like the compact was able to track and focus faster.
So you're saying it might just have a smidge over the Z3 even?
Yeah, which is unheard of in the compact versus flagship.
Well, the cameras really impressed me. This is one of the best cameras I've ever used, right? I mean, it's on a smartphone and it's amazing for what it is.
Yeah.
So we've got great performance, really good design, and a fantastic display. I mean, what about the brightness on this, right?
Yeah, I mean, 600 nits on that guy. I don't exactly know what it is on this one, but it seems like it's just
Must
as
be.
bright. The panel is really high quality,
This
and
is it.
this is the thing. I'm seeing we're making an argument for not QHD. I mean, I hated it on the LG G3. It was just eating battery life and getting hot, right? And I think the higher quality panel
Yep.
just makes for a better viewing experience. Just you don't cheap out on the panel, and then everything will be fine.
So you can count the pixels all you want, but it comes down to the quality of the panel at the end of the day.
I think so.
And the panel on this guy is phenomenal, right?
It's phenomenal. They could have improved the software a little bit. I mean, on the Z3 as well.
Okay.
That was kind of annoying me a little bit that there wasn't as many themes available.
Well, I've been spoiled recently with Huawei and Xiaomi. They have themes up the yin yang, right? There's just more themes than you know what to do with. And I kind of feel just the design of the Xperia UI is a little dated. It looks a bit. Come on, I mean, I said this to you, and you're like, what? Samsung is like walks on water, but then.
But you're right. When you put it beside the LG G3, their icons are just a little more polished, a little more modern. And if somebody's gonna like put you into their store and make you pay $1 for a new theme, that just sucks.
You're a fangirl, but you're not that much of a fangirl.
No, I mean, like, Sony is like nickel and diming us after we paid
Yeah.
a pretty penny for the device, right? So that does kind of piss me off.
But they kind of, it does have maybe there's a change in the industry now when a lot of these Chinese vendors are offering themes as it's kind of like it's like a feature of the phone almost.
When you showed me how many there were on the Huawei, I was like, Jesus. I mean, like, I know that it's not such a big deal because you can go to the store and get your own launchers. I mean, like, you're never tied in that much, but at the same time, it's nice when it comes native.
And then there's the issue of price.
Then there's the
So this, I mean, we're concluding this really is a flagship design in miniature. It's a small version, and the price kind of reflects that. We're expecting it to be maybe just $50 less than the Z3.
Yeah, I mean, this is the big debate, right? Like, if you're looking to get either the Z3 or the Z3 Compact, it's price-wise, you're not really looking at that much of a difference.
Yeah.
It's more about how important is pocketability to you, how important is one-handed use to you. If you're an iPhone 5S user, this would be the closest thing that you can get with modern specifications.
That's right.
Right. So if the iPhone 6 is too big for you and you're like committed to the 5S size,
Absolutely.
this would be the handset of choice. But you have to leave Apple.
Well, I mean, the thing that I'm thinking, I mean, just in terms of handset size, I think right now, I mean, I'm getting used to the phablet sizes. I mean, I'm getting used to the Galaxy Notes and, like you said, the Ascend Mate 7, which is a 6-inch screen. So going back to a 4.6-inch screen does feel a little bit confining when I'm typing and stuff. So I think of the two, I would probably opt for the 5-inch more than the 4.6-inch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards the Z3 as well, but at the same time, if I could have both, thrilled.
But there's got to be a lot of people out there who are really into this. I mean, we're reviewers. We get our hands on so much technology, and we've kind of adapted very easily now to this larger screen size. For most people, I think this guy actually is probably going to be the winner.
No, absolutely. I mean, just in terms of how many pockets it can fit into, I think that's going to be one of the big defining things because not everybody wants a big phone.
So it's a flagship in miniature.
Yeah.
There we have it, the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact.
And if you want to know how this compact stacks up with the other ones on the market, like the LG G3S or say the HTC Mini 2, we have a shootout of that coming up very, very shortly.
So I'm Stu, this is Nicole from Mobile Geeks, and if you like this stuff, don't forget to subscribe. See ya.
Yeah.